This excerpt is from Sampson's Auburn. And while there's a lot of great music in here, I'm going to give you some tips to help navigate some of the trickier passages of it. First, I would say, are the intervals. While we need to know the intervals within the phrases that we're playing, it's also very important to know the intervals from the end of one phrase to the beginning of the next. Practice those just as much as you would the intervals of the phrase itself. The second is time. This excerpt has a lot of mixed meters and changing tempos within it. What I'd suggest is putting on a metronome and ignoring the tempo changes until you have a really solid framework, and then you can push and pull the time as you want, and not guessing the rhythm, but always knowing it. Finally, the difficulty within this piece is not the highs, but I would say rather the lows, especially in bar 24. As we leap down to these lower notes, remember to stay bright and remember to stay puckered out with your embouchure to help you get those notes to speak. Finally, with all of this, make sure you are saying something musically and you're always putting your best tone first. This excerpt is from the beginning of Zwillich's spin-off number 2. I really like this piece. It's like a gutsier soldier's tale. Despite the technical nature of this piece, we need to think tone first. We don't have good technique unless we have good tone. So especially with these arpeggios in bars 1, 5, and 9, think of your tone through those rising notes and dig out the low notes so you can then float to the high notes with that. Practice this piece slowly. There's some really complicated mixed meters and rhythms that will trip you up. If you need to, break the ties and play it without the ties so you're very confident as to what those rhythms are in these mixed meters passages, and then put those ties back in. Finally, practice things down the octave if you need to. Some of these intervals can wind within each other and be hard to hear. So get that interval really well in your ear, perhaps down the octave, and then replace it up the octave. Throughout this whole piece, have fun with it. Make sure you're saying something. Don't just accomplish notes, but we want to hear the music that you're going to make. Have fun.